you were pretty popular, obviously back in Tennessee, and the trade goes down. There had to be emotions that you went through leaving that fan base who liked you so much. Can you talk about that?
It was kind of bittersweet, you know. I built relationships over the past 3 years with a lot of good friends, and just to see it go, just leaving the building, it's tough, But I'm also excited to be an Eagle and just be a part of a great organization.
AJ, speaking of good friends, you've developed a close relationship with Jalen Hurts. Can you kind of tell us how that started and how you feel about playing with him?
It started. He was recruiting me to Alabama, and I chose Ole Miss. But we stayed in contact this entire time. We became really close friends, and I'm extremely excited to play with him. We always joked about it, but we never thought it would be reality.
What do you know about Jalen that we don't?
Like that between a quarterback and a receiver help chemistry? Because obviously chemistry is such a huge part of a team's winning.
So, just being honest, I think we talk all the time, and just trying to be on the same page all the time is huge for our offense, huge for our team. We already have that friendship, so we can hold each other accountable. We know it makes each other tick. So, just getting everybody on the board and on that same level, it's different. So.
Why do you think you guys clicked and were able to maintain a friendship even though you weren't playing together?
I'm not sure. I think when you run into good people, I think you try to stay close to him. And he was one person that I considered a really, really good friend who always looked out for me, and here we are.
Why do you think you ended up here?
Why?
Why? Yeah, why?
That's a question I really can't answer. I think Jalen was kind of putting a bug in their ear, and then it just kind of happened, so.
You spent some time working out together this offseason. I don't know if you did that previous off seasons, but what was the genesis behind that? How did that come about?
So he was coming to my daughter's birthday party, and every time we get together, we always get a throwing session in. This is every time. So it wasn't on purpose, but we had a little fun with it too, about posting the picture.
Did you guys ever talk about playing together? I mean, when you were working out, it was just like a week and a half.
Oh, for sure. We were in the middle of the throwing session. Jalen said he's gonna ask him to trade for me, and we was just laughing and joking, and we had no idea that this would happen. So
what made him the better recruiter this time around?
I think it just kind of played out that way. It was kind of out of my hands a little bit, and so. We just went with it, and I'm glad it happened.
On a more serious note, it's been a big offseason for wide receivers. This trade, this contract, what does that say about your standing in the league?
I'm one of the top guys in the league. I'm confident in how I play and what I bring to the table. I'm glad the Eagles believed in me.
AJ, what was going through your mind with all this movement and all these extensions that were handed out before this move was made?
I just wanted to, I wanted my work to be appreciated. That's pretty much it.
What was the explanation you got from the Titans?
The explanation? No explanation. It was just, they're just sorry it couldn't work out, and it's a business, and things happen. You move on, and I appreciate the Titans for everything they did for me. People down there, I have no bad blood with the Titans. They believed in me, they drafted me, so, they got my career started,
You're a relatively young guy yourself, but you're stepping into a receiver room with a lot of inexperience. Are you looking forward to being a veteran presence in there, and what can you bring in that respect?
For sure, and I'm still a student too, no matter what. Just because I have a little more experience, I'm always a learner. And that's how you continue to get better in this league. And so if I can learn something from the other guys or teach something to the other guys, it helps everyone out. So
There's a sense, AJ, that because that Titans offense was so run-heavy, that there's room for you to grow even from what you did there? What have you heard from Jalen just about the offense itself and how you fit in?
We had a lot of talks. My style of play is gonna fit in regardless. You know, just what I bring to the table and how I play. You know, the physicality, run after the catch. You know, so.
How influential was Jalen in
I'm sorry.
kind of sealing the deal? How influential was Jalen in kind of sealing the deal to make everything happen that you ended up here?
I'll just say he made it a lot easier. He made it a lot easier to make the decision, just because I know he has my back and he knows I have his.
You were going up against the clock, to get your contract extension done. Was he kind of in your ear a little bit at that point?
Earlier that day, like in the morning, I kind of went cold on him a little bit. I was trying to just let everything work itself out because I didn't want to make mixed emotions because it's a big decision. Change the rest of my life. So.
What are the emotions you experienced, in that FaceTime call that he posted immediately afterwards?
I know everyone think on that FaceTime call it was like it was planned, but that was just two friends just kind of in disbelief that it really happened, and we were so excited with no worries. We were just laughing, so.
As a follow-up to Thursday night, I guess what was that day like? Because the Eagles said they would only make the deal if the contract was signed. So for you to make that decision, what was that day like up until the trade?
I kind of knew about the possible trade at around 1 o'clock, and just mixed emotions. I went and worked out, and actually worked out real hard. Tried to get some stuff out of my chest, and it was just ups and downs. Like I said, it was bittersweet. I was a little sad that the time was on board with the trade, but it's a part of the business, and that's fine. But once everything got done and the trade went through and Jalen called me, he made it a lot easier. Like I said, it's been bittersweet, but also I'm so excited to be a part of a great organization.
You've worked out with Jalen. What do you see him as a passer? Y'all just worked on some basic routes. What do you see in him as a quarterback?
I see a guy who is talented, believes in himself, has a strong arm, he's on time. And this is just all coming from me. This is all the times that we worked out together. I think the sky's the limit for her. I'm going to go to bat for him every Sunday, because he's my friend, So it's a different mentality you bring when you're playing for somebody that, that's important to you. It's not about yourself no more. It's about you playing for someone else. So, I'm going to go above and beyond for this team and for him. So.
Who else do you have a relationship with on this team other than Jalen?
I know a few guys, but just on that level.
Anybody else reach out to you besides Jalen, obviously?
Smitty reached out to me. I know he's excited, and I'm excited to work with him. He has a lot of talent. So.
How do you guys complement each other?
He's a speedster guy. He gets in and out of his breaks. A great route runner. So he's a speedster guy, and then I'm a guy who bring more physicality. So I think it's good.
AJ, did you request the trade from Tennessee, and if so, can you help explain why?
I'm gonna try not to get into all that, but I'm not gonna look backwards. Moving forward, and like I said, I'm excited.
What are fans in Philadelphia gonna learn about you?
My passion for the game, my passion to win. That's all I care about is winning. I'm not a big regular season guy. I want to win it. I want to win it all, and that's my expectations coming into this building. I'm not trying to put expectations on the team, but I want to win. I haven't won anything since I was in high school, so I know this is a great team, great organization that can get it done.
How do you feel health-wise this offseason versus last when you were coming off the minor knee procedures? Do you feel like you're much further ahead in terms of?
Yeah, I feel wonderful. I'm in great shape. I'm leaner, And, yeah.
You said earlier in draft day, you and Jalen got to have conversations. What was that conversation like?
Earlier,
Earlier in draft day, you say you ended up going cold on him later. But,
Yeah,
what was the conversation like earlier?
yeah, he just kind of brought it to my attention. I think somebody had said something to him about it, and then I got a call from my agent to, reassure what could happen. And so we talked about it a little bit. He just told me he want me to do it best for me and my family. And so.
Thanks, everyone.
Before Thursday?